Kansas City suburbs dig out in the wake of disaster, tornadoes spawned in record numbers, and torrential rains continue to ravage the Midwest. The storms that struck here in Missouri almost without warning have left a trail of havoc from Indiana, south and west through Texas, and the siege of terror is not yet ended. In human terms, these pictures tell their own story, and the story is the same everywhere that rampaging weather has blasted down from the skies. In less than a week, the known death toll has mounted to well over 50. Property and crop damages may reach into the hundreds of millions. Meanwhile, new twisters continue to be reported. The Mississippi and other rivers build to ominous flood crests. Years of drought in the heartland of the nation have ended with a furious eruption of nature, the result of an unpredicted and unpredictable change in basic weather patterns, whose final outcome may be uncertain, but whose effect thus far is only too apparent in grim and bitter tragedy for millions. Copenhagen is in festive array as the royal yacht Britannia arrives, bearing Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. A 42-gun salute booms from Elsinore Castle as the royal visitors come ashore, where King Frederick bids them welcome. This is Elizabeth's third visit abroad in recent months, and as in Paris and Lisbon, Copenhagen, often termed the Paris of the North, outdoes itself with a splendidly enthusiastic reception. Denmark has an informal attitude toward its own ruling house, but on this occasion, unprecedented throngs line the route of the royal procession. Moved by the same unexplained impulse that stirred Republican France and stiffly aristocratic Portugal, Denmark hails the visiting queen with a warmth that could scarcely be matched in her own loyal homeland. Shrouded in the mists of dawn, Scandinavia's newest and largest entry in the transatlantic luxury fleet arrives in New York to be greeted with the traditional harbor welcome. Fireboats jet streams of water high into the air as the big whistle is sounded by every ship in the port. An impressive maritime salute to the impressive new flagship of Sweden's merchant fleet. The Gripsholm bears the name of World War II's famed Mercy ship. It is commanded by Gunnar Nortenson, who skippered the Stockholm at the time of the Andrea Doria collision. Now master of a proud contender for blue ribbon honors on the Atlantic sea lanes. Kansas City is host to the AFL-CIO trade show. Among those present are officers of the Theatrical and Stagehands Union, with the president of their international organization, Richard Walsh. A former president gets new shoes for walking, and a pretty gal gets a new coiffure from a union hairdresser whose talents haven't worn off on himself. He's not blowing up balloons, he's the glass blower, and here you see the results of his puffing. Skills of union labor on display. Launching a 600-foot ship in a 700-foot channel presents something of a problem, but Dutch ingenuity solves it. 9 anchors attached by cable to the ship's hull are dropped in the water. They will serve to swing the vessel around at a predetermined point in the harbor. Well, that's the general idea. So here's the christening in Champagne. And then it's hold your breath. The tanker is starting down the ways. Will the anchors do their job? Well, if they don't, the ship will crash into the opposite shore. It's that simple. He's taking no chances, but he could have stayed put. The anchors hold and the ship swings around in the channel as nice as you please. One of the most difficult and by all odds the most spectacular launching we've ever seen. A big job in a small space. Well done. It's harvest time on the Don River in southern Russia. A harvest from the sea. The fish in the nets are sturgeon, and some of them weigh 500 pounds or more. And if you don't know what comes from sturgeon, well, I'll not give you much urging. The big ones, called belugas, give up what connoisseurs consider the finest caviar in the world. 100 pounds of it from one big fish, which is a lot of caviar and will fill a lot of tins and ruin a lot of budgets, too. Caviar is expensive. At Camp Pendleton, the Marine Corps celebrates a proud event for an heroic veteran of the Korean War, what you might call a new recruit, or at least an addition to the ranks. Sergeant Reckless proudly introduces Private Fearless. No GI mess for this private. He's under Mom's custody, a distinguished combat veteran giving basic training to the youngest Marine of them all. From Prague north into Germany and then west across the Polish border to Warsaw. That's the long route of a marathon bike race that makes the old 6-day grind seem like child's play by comparison. A snowstorm adds to the miseries of the riders who face all kinds of weather and all kinds of road conditions as they pedal away for hundreds of miles behind the Iron Curtain. The stadium in Warsaw is jam-packed for the finish of this Middle Europe sports classic. And here's the winner, a cycle champ from East Germany, congratulated by Poland's leader, Vladislav Gomulka.